He was obsessed, you see, with finding an appropriate vessel for this power.
As I was watching the trailer and I saw Jin seeping down into the ocean, the river, whatever this is, I couldn't help but think about Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and how this is so similar to Jun Kazama. As I was preparing to make a video myself, someone on the Tekken subreddit beat me to it. I think this shadowy figure is definitely Devil Jin. Maybe it's not the actual character because it doesn't make sense for them to be in two different places, but I think this is Jin envisioning this. He's seeing this as the Devil Jin is calling out to him. Jun Kazama saw Angel. Jin, in his lowest of lows, he sees the devil version of himself. In today's video, we have a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right into it. Something else that was not talked about, not discussed, was a release date, a beta, and a demo. But if you guys remember, a couple of days ago, I discovered that you could tell the Xbox app on your phone to try and download Tekken 8 to the console. A couple of seconds after the installation, it will stop. But the fact that it's attempting to download something led a lot of people to believe that a beta was coming. And quite honestly, just because it hasn't been announced at the Game Awards doesn't mean that they won't do one eventually, because we still have to remember they're not doing arcade stuff this time around, so they're going to need a way to test the game and make sure it's working, netcode and all. The Tekken subreddit held predictions to gauge the community's expectations of the Tekken 8 trailer. Answering this last poll, when Street Fighter 6 release date leaked online via PSN, June 2nd, 2023 is the date. My predictions for when Tekken 8 is going to come out, and still is, I still believe November 2023 is when it will come out. On the topic of Street Fighter, I really love this character, Manana. I'm definitely going to have to try them in the beta. I'm looking forward to that. On Twitter, there's a lot of discussions happening right now. People are spotting things that I was not able to. In the background of Lars versus Jin, you can see Violet Systems, the white circle around it. This is obviously hinting at Violet, the character returning, which this is kind of obvious. He's a staple character. He's very important. He will be there in some capacity. Of course, you have the Leroy's with the 2 R's. No one knows why there's 2 R's. Another thing too, there's a coffee shop that also says Smith. For a split second, I thought this could be like Negan Smith because that is Negan's last name. But another person on Twitter, they zoomed in very thoroughly and you can see that it is Leroy Smith. Another sign, you have Leroy Smith, but this time with 1 R. Right next to the Smith coffee shop, you also have Bob's Burger. At the same time as doing the IGN news article, Harada also did one in Japanese. Tekken Gamer translated a lot of it, but a lot of the information was the same, except for this part here about Heihachi. I'm assuming Heihachi will die and not come out. Harada says, if you look at the way Heihachi collapses at the end of Tekken 7, you'll understand that he's been hit harder than I initially instructed him to do. The level of being passed away. Huh? Heihachi's dead. The journalist says, that means you should stop using Heihachi? Harada laughs and says no. There's many other members of the Mishima family. This is kind of interesting here. He basically confirms Heihachi is dead. The part there where he's talking about how he falls down, how he collapses, that is because Kazuya punched him and stopped his heart. He fell down like a sack of potatoes because he was dead before he even hit the ground. Switching over now, we're going to talk about the reactions on Twitter. There's a lot of mixed reactions, and then after that, we're going to talk about Jun Kazama. I was doing some digging and I'm getting a little bit closer to discovering where she's been. But starting off on Twitter, we have Rip here. It says, I love the Tekken 8 trailer, but marketing the hell out of D8 misled everyone hoping for a date. Not only did it mislead people to think there was going to be a release date, but it also misled a lot of people to thinking the game was gonna come out. As I was live streaming, so many people was like, oh, is the game coming out? Is it out? Where is it? So many people, and I think that was kind of an oversight. They have to remember, Tekken fans isn't that smart. Super Akuma says, Tekken 7 brought so many new players by being a lot more visually impressive for spectators with explosions and slow motions. Tekken 8 is looking absolutely bonkers and I'm all for it. A lot of people are divided on the graphics. Some people don't like the way characters look, some people don't like the way that stages look, the colors.
Is that Forrest or is that Marshall or is that a third cousin? Who the fuck is this? He's a Law from the Law family, but who the fuck is that, dude? Is that Liu Kang? I don't know who the fuck that is.
Even the first trailer looked a little bit different from Tekken 7 from what we're used to in past Tekkens. This second trailer, it kind of really does stretch it a little bit more. But I'm all for it because I think we need a visual change. Tekken has been the same since Tekken. Heat mode, you mean KOF max mode? Bro, a lot of people were saying this. A lot of people were saying KOF, Street Fighter, Dead or Alive. A lot of people was comparing that mechanic to other games, which honestly might be why they added it in the game, because a lot of other games have a version of it and maybe Tekken wanted their own. I'm holding all judgment until I play it for myself. I'm not going to criticize a mechanic that I never even controlled before. I've been waiting a long time for this. Welcome back, Jun Kazama. I can't wait to play you. Everyone in the comment section, comment whether or not you will play Jun Kazama. I see a lot of people hyped about her inclusion, but I really hope people actually play her, because the reason she didn't make it into Tekken 7 and she was cut all those years ago in Tekken 2 is because she was not a popular character. So hopefully this time around the community can really show their appreciation by playing this character online and in tournaments. This tweet was put out way before the trailer, but I do want to talk about it. They better be in it, Nina and Anna. It's so crazy because they weren't in the trailer. I didn't even think about it in doing my breakdown or anything until I saw this tweet and I realized they weren't in it. I think they really missed the mark with pleasing the waifu community. We saw the Street Fighter 6 community every chance they get. They are showing off these characters, how attractive they are. Tekken didn't even attempt that, which is kind of strange. I talked about this image in another video and I said I'll get back to you guys with an explanation. I tried to do some digging and I really cannot figure out where this is at. I do want to point out though that there's chains all over the place. We know the significance of chains and how it's related to the devil gene. You have a giant hand creeping out of the sand, but then also there's a earth-like spear floating with a lot of particles around it. I did some research. I thought this could be Heavenly Gardens or Fallen Earth, I think the other one is. But in Fallen Earth and Heavenly Gardens, there's floating rocks. And not only is there floating rocks, but there's like flowers, there's vegetation. There's also a big turtle in the background. In Fallen Garden, that turtle dies and you can see its corpse, but we don't see any of that here. The only way these two stages would be the same if one, it's in a totally different location, like a totally different area, because it is a infinite, and then two, if the ocean, if the river receded, the water receded. But I think this is somewhere totally new. We're gonna have to see what Harada and the dev says about this place, but I'm really interested to see how this all ties into the story. That's going to be it for this little breakdown though. Just a quick discussion about everything that's taking place. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and I'll be bringing more videos, more theories, more breakdowns to the video ASAP. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.